Hi, today I'm going to show you the custom plugin we've developed for GenFEA Web that works with Codex, and that's what I'm going to be demonstrating in today's video. But the same would apply to Claude Code and OpenClaw and other tools. We've got agents operating in an environment such as this one. Now you can see there the live skills that is installed with GenFEA Web plugin. And this pretty much just provides instructions and tools to your LLM on how to use the new GenFEA Web environment. And I'm just setting up a new chat with my working folder that contains a couple of PDFs of a carport model. You can see there I've got 3 PDFs there. There is also an IFC model in that folder, and that's what you see there on in the screen. And then there's the original Revit model that it was built from, and then a couple of screenshots just to make it a bit easier for the LLM. And then what I do is I open up the web browser viewer within Codex, and I launch the GenFEA Web platform. And I'm just going to make sure we're using the latest 5.5 model, and I'm going to set the effort to high. And then I'm just going to populate some of the fields within the project, because the LLM will actually take control of the project, and it's good to provide the location, because in the instructions I'm going to tell it to generate some wind loads in the X direction. So to start off, we'll start a new session in the AI control component within GenFEA Web, and all this is going to do is it's going to open up that tunnel and provide us with some better tokens that the LLM will use. And then I've scripted my prompt so that I can just paste it in here. So we'll call the GenFEA Live Control plugin, which has got the skills attached to it. And I'm just going to first ask Codex to ping the GenFEA Web service and make sure that it can establish that connection and connect to it. And you'll see it'll respond back and say, yep, it's actually been able to connect. It's found the project name, it knows the location, it knows the units, and it actually knows what materials and sections are already present within that model. And then I'll just copy and paste my instruction there, and basically I wanted to take that information, regenerate the model in GenFEA Web, apply some dead load for the roof sheeting, and also generate some wind loads based on the project location. So again, I'm using that plugin, and then we're sending that off, and we'll speed this up a bit. It did take about 25 minutes to run through the process, which, you know, in the greater scheme of things is reasonably quick. But you'll see as it starts working through the exercise, it's going to start generating content within the model. So first it's setting up the plan. That was the first task. So setting up the plan, and once we're happy with the plan, we can review that. Now I didn't switch it to plan mode. It doesn't really make a difference. You can obviously use plan mode if you want, but I was basically just wanting to make sure it understands the task at hand. And you'll see now it's executing it, so it's got the information, it's starting to generate nodes, and the important thing is it's got direct access to GenFEA Web. So apart from it loading in its own browser, it's also able to run screenshots, so it can extract the visual output, so it can obviously see the analytical data that GenFEA Web builds in the backend, so it can read nodes, framing, connector elements, and so on. But it can also take screenshots, so it can do some visual validations within the model. And you'll see as it connects to GenFEA Web there, it freezes the screen for input. You can still navigate the model and have a look around things and turn things on and off, but the actual data transactions that occur, we just lock it down so that you don't accidentally have a double up on actions. And you can see the model starting to form there. It's actually taking screenshots, so when the views are changing, it's the AI that is validating the model, so it's taking screenshots and mapping that against the information that I provided earlier on. And of course, all of this is running directly in Codex, but you can do exactly the same in Claude or other environments like I mentioned. The way we set this up with plugins and skills is that it's a standardized format, so it should be compatible in those other platforms. And this is the output. So you can see we've had that original IFC model with a bit of an overhang and the purlins at the end there of those rafters that carry the roof sheeting. We've got that cross bracing running across, and then we've got this narrower piece here at the end with the purlin at the one end and just the cantilever there on the other end. And that's exactly what it's modeled. So it's followed the instruction really well. It's built that model, it's generated the load cases, it's generated load combinations, and this model would now be ready for analysis, which is something I'll show in the next video, because the LLM and the agent actually has access to the analysis functionality, so it can call the analysis process, run analysis, look at optimizations, and iterate the process until it's done. Hope you enjoyed that. Talk again soon. Cheers. Bye.